Hello, my name is Josh. Today I'm going to be comparing a compound bow and a crossbow. I'm going to compare the pros and cons of each, as well as which situations each would excel at. Then I'm going to do a accuracy test on the target behind me. Let's get started. A quick definition for a compound bow is that it is a bow that uses a levering system of cables and pulleys to release an arrow. A crossbow uses the same levering system of cables and pulleys, but sits on a gun-like stock and releases a bolt. We'll start off pros and cons talking about the pros of a compound bow. Keep in mind that pros and cons will be assumed in the situation of deer hunting. A major pro with a compound bow is that you are able to release a second arrow much faster. This comes in handy when you shoot and miss and the deer stands still. You are able to notch your second arrow and get your second shot off. Another pro is that a compound bow is light. This makes it easy to hold the compound bow out and away from your body to release the arrow. Now let's move on to the cons of a compound bow. First off, a compound bow takes a lot of practice to achieve a consistent shot. This means that you have to take time out of your schedule to practice, and that is often a deal breaker for many busy people. Another con is that you have a limited time frame to release an arrow. This is because your arm begins to shake because of the position it is put in, and that will drastically throw off your shot. Now we're moving on to the pros and cons of a crossbow. We're going to start off with the pros of using a crossbow. A pro with a crossbow is that it is similar feeling to a rifle. This means that anyone who has shot a rifle will be able to shoot a crossbow. Another pro is that you have more time to aim. Unlike a compound bow, a crossbow can sit in the shooting position for as long as you need, allowing you to get the perfect shot. Also, you are able to rest a crossbow on something, making for an easy shot. Now let's talk about the cons of a crossbow. Our first con is that a crossbow is sometimes heavy. This makes it hard to hold out in front of you. Another con with a crossbow is that using it during archery season is sometimes seen as cheating by other people. This can sometimes take away from the excitement of your hunt. Now that we're done talking about the pros and cons of both the crossbow and the compound bow, let's move on to the side-by-side accuracy comparison. Keep in mind that all shooting is done by an amateur. Now on to the accuracy comparison. I'll be shooting 2 shots from each at 20 yards, and I'll be aiming at the top left group of organs. Let's get started. The compound bow. Now the crossbow. Second shot on the compound bow. And now the second shot on the crossbow. Let's go see how we did. As a result, you can see that the crossbow's bolts were well grouped up, a little high, but The compound bow arrows were a little more spread out, but overall both were pretty accurate. Both were a kill shot, but the crossbow were a little closer and a little more accurate. Second round of shooting. Now I'm going to switch it to one arrow each, and for fun I'm going to be trying to hit a hedge apple in the middle of the target over there. Let's get started. It fell. Let's go get it set back up. Now with the crossbow. Crossbow seemed to be the only one able to actually hit the hedge apple, but compound bow came close, still a good competition. Now we're going to talk about my personal preference and just which one is my favorite. I enjoy shooting both, but personally I'd rather hunt with my crossbow just because it's more accurate and it doesn't take that much target practice. In conclusion, we've seen the pros and cons of both the compound bow and the crossbow. So it's pretty much just up to the person and their opinion. Some people will never go with a crossbow just because they've grown up with a compound bow and just can't ever think of switching, and others it's just too easy to use the crossbow, so there's no reason to even try with the compound bow. Thanks for watching this video comparing the compound bow and the crossbow. Hope you liked it. Hope you learned something new.